Hello, and welcome to episode 1 of dismantling and revamping our powder room off our kitchen. So we bought this house in November 2022, and we have literally done the most minor things to this space to make it functional for our family. We really just kind of threw caution to the wind in this space because we knew it was going to be a full gut job. So we actually really haven't taken care of it very much. It still has the original linoleum flooring from the 90s when this extension was built in the house. It still has the pedestal sink, which we've always used to wash out our paintbrushes throughout the rest of the renovations in the house. Literally all we have done in this space is we changed out the toilet for a more high efficiency toilet because the other one was leaking, was the main reason. I added a curtain to the window, which we will keep because this is the back door, so you can actually see into the bathroom from the back door. And we changed out the mirror and we added this medicine cabinet. Now the mirror and the medicine cabinet are going to stay same as the toilet. We've got a new setup for a vanity and we're going to add some pizzazz to this space. I personally have been putting this off because we have to lay new wood flooring, which I'm not looking forward to. It's a very, very tight space. So we're looking forward to it, but let me show you the design plans right now. Okay guys, let's chat through the design board for this space. So everything started by a wash stand that I found at a secondhand store. And I fell in love with it. And I knew that that was the piece we wanted for this space. Not only did it fit perfectly because we need a really narrow sink in there because it is such a tiny spot, but it's also the fact that it was antique and it had a built-in handle for, or like holder for your towels. So I just knew that it would work in the space really well. So that kind of started everything. Then we decided, ooh, a marble bowl would be great. Now we're still on the fence of the marble bowl. I've purchased it, but in order to save money, because we are doing this on a tight budget, I had to buy a bowl instead of a marble sink. And we're just not sure if the marble is going to withstand drilling a drain into it. So we're now looking at getting a plain white vessel sink because that might actually just work better. And we also haven't bought the faucet yet, so that's like a whole other story. Anyways, that was our first step. Second step is we're working with Sandberg Wallpaper. It's who we did the awkward space with. If you follow us on Instagram, you will know all about that. And they just released a new line of wallpaper. So we really wanted to take a look at what those styles were. And we ended up falling in love with this beautiful wallpaper. And what the great thing about this wallpaper is, it actually looks like texture. You see that on there? So we got the wallpaper, fell in love with it. And I actually also fell in love with a paint color. See where this is going? So this was a paint color that we actually just painted our fireplace mantle with. And it works really well because we're going to be adding some wainscoting around the room. So essentially, it will look like this. I think it looks really good together. So then, I've been on Instagram, and one of the spaces that I love so much, well, not one of them, but most of the spaces I love so much, actually have lighting that reminds me of my parents' house, which was built in the 90s. And it has better color brass now, but it's that etched glass looking lighting. And I don't know if it's the fact that I'm really wanting our home to feel like home, or I'm just, as I'm getting older, I just turned 37, I'm looking more into pieces that I know are pretty classic, but I really wanted that etched glass in this space, especially against that really upscale wallpaper. So we ended up going with this beautiful sconce, which is going to go over an antique mirror. And it's LED, which I've never worked with before, but we're gonna get that wired as soon as we've got the wallpaper up. And then obviously the flooring is going to be the same as what's in the kitchen. So it's white oak, which is stained really quickly with a white stain. And then after we've white stained it, we wipe it off as quick as we've put it on. So I'm gonna walk you through that whole process. I think it's gonna turn out well. Fingers crossed for me. Okay, so let's take you for a tour. I have not cleaned this space at all, but as you can see, besides the antique pieces we've added, it's in rough shape. The flooring is completely stained, not from us, that was previous, and the walls just, it needs a whole new vibe. So I'm very excited to get this project started. Okay, so we've just gutted everything and we finally get to see the washstand sitting in place. It's good. What do you think? You can move around.
Yeah, I don't know about
All right, so we are now at the stage where we are ripping out the subfloor. We took the subfloor out when we laid this floor. So in order for this bathroom to be the same level, so we can just flow the entire floorboards straight into the bathroom without having to have a transition piece and different levels, we need to get that board out. But it is more difficult than we were expecting it to be. All right, so we have got all of the subfloor up. There is a bit of water damage, but the wood isn't spongy at all, so we think it's just surface, which is good. We are now going to, we've just brought some wood up, but this is the remainder flooring from the kitchen. When we tied that in, we're actually going to lay it the opposite way so it goes against what the floorboards are currently. And yeah, I think it's going to look really good. And then we need to sand it, stain it, and seal it. Okay, so we're about to start, but we thought what we would do is we would work on the threshold first. So we had cut the tongue off of the board that we ended with last year when we did the kitchen floor. So we're going to cut the tongue again off of a new board. We're going to cut the threshold of the door up so that we can essentially just slide the board in with the tongue cut off underneath the door frame. That way, when we go to lay the new floor, the tongue of the ends can fit right into the groove of this threshold and look very neat and tidy. So before we can lay the flooring, we actually have to lay just a paper liner in between the current subfloor and then the wood flooring that we're laying down. It's going to help with squeaks, rubbing, etc. So we're getting that laid down. You literally just use a staple gun to attach it to the floor, and then we can start laying the wood over top.
Okay, first board's in. We had to space a bit of about 1/4 of an inch difference between this corner and this corner, just to make sure that the boards ended up being square. Run through. But we're ready to take it the rest of the way.
With the wallpaper in here. What's great about these is they've actually mapped out every sheet so they perfectly match up together, as you can see from the top. I'm doing only where the halfway mark is because we're going to be putting some board style shiplap, vertical board, beadboard, what have you, on the bottom portion, so I just found it was kind of silly to do the whole thing wallpaper. But yeah, we're getting there. I'm about, I'd say, 1/3 of the way through. are on the last stretch of this bathroom renovation. Hi, buddy. So we are 5 days in as of today. We have 3 days left, and I think we're close enough, but it's the flooring that kind of is making me panic. So this is unfinished oak, and for it to match the rest of the house, we need to stain it white, then wait, and then seal it. And we want to get that done before we install the toilet back. But we can't do that until we've got the wall paneling on and we've painted. So today I'm going to get the wall paneling up, and tomorrow morning I'm going to paint. Once the paint is dry, I'm going to sand the floors. They just need a quick sand of 120 grit, and then I'm going to get them stained so that on Monday we can start sealing them, and on Tuesday we can install the toilet and the sink. That's my game plan. Installed. I'm now going to measure for the other pieces. The good thing about having this installed ahead of time is because this measurement will definitely change the length of these boards. So now that I've got this on, I can get that measured, get it cut, and a quick sand. So it's wall paneling time now that the baseboards are on. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this portion off, because I think it's going to be a lot cleaner if we build the panels into the window ledge. So what we're using here is, it's the Alexandra Molding V-grooved wainscot. We've used this in many parts of our house as well as our old house. We absolutely love it. Well, we just like Alexandra Molding products altogether, and this stuff is really easy to install. Rarely happens, but this board fits in here for spacing wise perfectly. So I just had to show you guys that. Okay, back to being in time lapse. Okay, I'm just waiting for the floors to dry a little bit more, but I'm about to stain them. I've also been testing out paint color. But essentially what we've done in the rest of the house, this floor is absolutely filthy, so you can't see it right now from us doing all this work. But we've done a whitewash of a white stain, simply white. Yep. All over the floor. What we do is we brush it on, and then we wipe it off with a cloth, like directly after we've wiped it on. And then it just gives this lovely white hue to stop the wood from yellowing, because it is oak, it can yellow, and we just don't want that. And then once this is dried for 24 hours, tomorrow morning we will start sealing the entire floor so we can get the toilet in, because walking upstairs is a lot of work from all the way back here. Okay, so I've just put the third coat of floor sealant on. It gives a milky hue to everything. So we're gonna let that sit for 2 hours. I then have to sand it in between each coat. I do have a highlight on refinishing floors. So if you've never refinished hardwood floors, you can check that out. So because of this, we are a day behind in this room. So it's not going to be done by tomorrow, unfortunately. But Thursday, I think we can get it done. So we put one more coat on this and then leave it to sit overnight. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to finish the painting. I kind of just used the sample as a base coat. And then I'll get everything painted and everything back installed for the reveal. So I'm hoping to have it done by Thursday, and then I will post it this weekend.